The scripture today is actually on the front of the bulletin. It's underneath of this photograph, which I will be referring to. All right, and it's from Matthew 10:8. And it says, "Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give." And so the title today is called Season of Giving. And the subtitle is Use It or Lose It All. Does everyone remember what the situation was where this text came from today in Matthew 10? Yeshua had sent his disciples out. He actually mentions them by name. There's 12 of them. And he had equipped them to go to the towns. He says, don't go into Samaria, right? Don't go to the Gentiles, but go to the towns of the Jewish people, right, of Israel. And he equipped them. He said, okay, so go and heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. And so if he sends us out, he won't ask us to do anything that he doesn't give us the capability of doing. You know, this congregation 2 years ago spent a lot of time self-evaluating and looking at each other and praying about what our gifts would be and how we would contribute to the body. Every congregation, as well as the entire Christian body in the world, is compared to a body, a physical body, where the head is Christ, is Yeshua, and where we each have a part. And if one of us thinks, well, you know, I don't really have a part, I'm just the like the toe, or I'm just just the earlobe or something like that. I tell you what, you might be able to get along without an earlobe. You won't look quite well balanced if you got one on one side and not on the other. But you know, every part of the body is important. If you think that little toe is not worth anything, I can tell you probably twice a year I'll go by and in my bare feet and it'll hit the edge of the piano or something, and it hurts. So we want every part of our body to function well, and every part of our body has a function. And so I want to actually refer to, and I'll keep it up here in front, Mike. But I actually want to refer to the photograph, and I got a larger one that we can zoom in on if we have to. But here's a picture of a guy who has a gift over his head. And then you can see that it looks like either it came down with the water and he caught it, or he's had it all along and the water is pouring on top of it, and so the water is pouring on him. And so what is that gift? That's his great. That's the gift of grace, is salvation. It's a free gift. And if Yeshua has given us his grace and has saved us, and he has given that to us freely, then he wants us actually to give that on to other people as well. And so when he asked his disciples to go from town to town, and they did go 2 by 2, by the way, he said, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you received from me, so freely give. I am not giving the service today, actually, but I am going to introduce who is going to provide the service today. You know, I don't know if you've noticed it, but put aside the political, people calling for donations to political campaigns. Let's just hope that that's almost over. But this time of year is a time of year where there's a lot of people asking for money. And it's no different with Gospel for All Nations. I've had a lot of requests recently, and for the most part, I just say, hey, that's way beyond what our body can do. But I just want to share some of that with you. I did send an email out this morning to everybody in this group about Pakistan's request. As you know, Pakistan comes to us once a year. And what they do at the end of the year is that they will go to the areas outside of Sargodha, the town where we have the school and where we have the church that we work with. And they will find families that have need. They're usually Christian families, which are the minority over there. They're usually not as well off as their Muslim brothers and sisters. And they know of these families anyway, because they visit them at least once a year, if not more frequently. And so they want to do that again this year. Widows, orphans, what I would refer to as the spiritually vulnerable, those who are servants or slaves to their Muslim masters who work for very low money or almost nothing or nothing. And we're going to go out and we're going to do what we do every year. We're going to have food and food baskets and warm blankets. And we usually run into people who have medical needs. And so in some cases, if there's need, there will be medical supplies that are provided. This year, it's about $50 more than they asked for last year. So the request is 70,000 Pakistan rupees, and that's $450. I've already, we've gotten somebody to contribute the majority of that already from this congregation. Now they have also asked, I'm just going through the list so that we're all aware of it. So they have also asked, Sharun has been asking us for some time to be able to get a vehicle because he gets on a bus or he has to rent a vehicle to go to Sargodha. And we know it's like a 3-hour drive each way. And now with COVID-19, the buses aren't running. It's very complicated. And so he likes to go, if not every week, then every other week. And he goes and checks on the school, the adult education program. And now they're also going to go ahead and start getting organized to do this year-end giving project. And so he's been asking whether or not we would be willing to put a down payment on a used vehicle that would be reliable for him. And he actually has got a bank who will actually allow him to make monthly payments on that. But the down payment is short of $1,900. And I have a corporate donor who says that whatever we came up with, they would match it. So what I am presenting today is a request for a total of $965. That's how it turns out with the exchange rate. So 150,000 Pakistan rupees is $965 is what he is requesting, and I have someone to match it dollar for dollar. So that one is a request that we have as well.
Yeah, that's only for down payment, not monthly.
Yeah, that's right. So, but we have the monthly already in budget. So what he assured is the down payment.
Well, the monthly budget that we have for the
Okay, we will discuss it another time, but the monthly budget is covered by somebody already. Okay. So what he doesn't have is the down payment. And this one I've already pretty much told them no, but on November 4, the pastor's wife, Alenter, in Kenya, had made known that this guy named Brother Rollins, who is a real estate agent, which we've talked about, raised money for an orphanage, and they've got the building up, except they don't have it finished. And so there's a request there. I'm just giving you the numbers. There's a request there to finish the building for $30,000. That is huge. So I already told them that we would not be participating in that. We've had a sponsor for Haiti. Haiti probably has been averaging about $600 a month. I have been turning a lot of requests down from them. When I went there 2 years ago, they've had the primary congregation and 4 satellite congregations. They now have 2 more satellite congregations, and they have pastors and congregations out in the countryside. He's asked to be able to expand his school from grade 6 to 7, and he did 7. He did that on faith. They fit into a corner, I think, of the church, and now he's asking to go up to grade 9 and to build a building. I think his request was something like $7,000 or $8,000 for the building, and I already turned it down. I'm just saying. We have another issue going on. Now that we have a new president, every single country that we are working in we've seen the dollar value go down. So what has happened is that the amount of money that we have been paying each month, which hasn't been too bad, particularly in Pakistan, that has now become more expensive for us. So we have the exchange rate problems. The worst exchange rate problem has been Haiti. So if we gave, say, $500 or $600, and again, we've had sponsors for that, it's now worth about $350 to $400. So their needs over there are the same, but it's more expensive to pay for it because of the exchange rate problems. We've had in the Philippines legal approval to do a street children's program. We have not taken that forward. And we get a lot of requests. We get requests. I've turned up, I don't know how many down from India. I turned one down from Nepal. I have one right now for Tanzania. I'm not giving them any encouragement. We were able to work with Bangladesh for a little time with some money that has come through, and that's not continuing. And so there is a huge need. And you know what? If you look back, with as few people as we have had, I think we've been able with God's help to do miracles. God has done miracles for us in these programs. The school program in Pakistan, the adult education program, and the outreach that has been done there, I believe, has been very successful in the 3 years that we've worked with it. Haiti has been successful. Kenya, as you know, we have a primary sponsor there, so it's not a big burden. It hasn't been a big burden at all on us. I think we throw in a little extra here and there when we have donations for that. And the program in Kenya has been a success. This real estate agent I referred to has raised quite a bit of money to put the structure up. And so it's been, what has gone through our little hands, I think, has been blessed mightily by Yahweh. And so the one who is going to do the service today is no other than Francis Chan. I don't know if you guys knew he moved to Hong Kong back in February. And this was recorded just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think just around Thanksgiving time. And the title of his program is When Jesus is Known, Giving is Easy. In last week's service, you'll know that we had a service on what we call moist bones. And I had quoted this guy. I don't know if you remember him or not, Trip Lee. So in last week's service, in that message, we talked about Yeshua as being our living water who poured himself out for us, so that our dead lives, our dry bones, could be moist again so that we could serve him. And the reason why I quoted this guy, Trip Lee, and I did look at his background, he's a rap artist. His music is not quite my type, but it's not too bad, but it's not quite my type. But he's also a youth pastor in Texas. And he understands exactly what the living water means and what moist bones versus dry bones means. And I want to actually call to mind again his quote. And here it is. He says, so let me get it straight. So there was one word, it was rise, because it was rise, dead bones rise, right? So he says rise has a lot of different meanings. It's a call to action to rise from the dead and actually live. He continues by explaining to us that we're born spiritually dead, and he's calling for everyone to become spiritually alive. And he goes on to say, secondly, don't wait until later to live the way that we were created to live, but that God created you and me to honor him. So find joy and serve others today. So don't sleep on that. Do it today, while we still have life in our bones, while we still have energy within us. You know, last week in the closing prayer, for each one of us, I asked that Yahweh would provide us with the gift of his son, Yeshua. And we did learn that when he says that to be enter into his Father's kingdom, that we had to be born again of the water and the Spirit, that the water was him. I asked him to please give us a drink of himself last week, so that for the rest of our lives as his disciple that we might be a fountain of living water, that in our service to him that everyone who drinks of him will never be thirsty again, and that it will be through him, the living water, that we will become a spring of water that wells up within us to eternal life, but not just for us, but that wells up for those that we serve as well. So in today's photograph at the front of the bulletin, we have a picture of a man who has received the free gift of Yeshua, his grace, through an outpouring of Yeshua as living water upon him. And so may we receive that gift today as we listen to Pastor Francis Chan's recent message entitled, "When Jesus is Known, Giving is Easy." And so the link to that message will be both on Facebook and it will be when it's posted on our website as well, so that link will be on there. And so we're going to turn the recording off and we're going to watch Francis Chan now.